Sunday's Fastlane, the last pay-per-view on the road to WrestleMania. I'm going to give you a preview of it and give you my predictions for how I think the matches are going to go. Let's start with the biggest pile of shit on the show, which is the women's tag match, which I've got no time for. Let's run through it quickly. I think Natalya and Carmella will win, based only on the fact that this was last minute announced on SmackDown by Naomi, who's got match booking powers. The face has got a win on SmackDown. Becky beat Carmella on SmackDown. And I think just in 50-50 booking, WWE style, the heels will get the win at the pay-per-view, so Natalya and Carmella getting the win. Moving swiftly on, Rude versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. And this match should probably be okay at very best, I imagine. We're guaranteed a Jinder Mahal interference, I think. Either that or he will be added to the match, either before the show or on the pre-show, I imagine. With his involvement and the fact that he got a win over the number one contender on SmackDown, he has cause to be involved in. He has cause to be in the match, and there's reason why he's going to interfere. If not, this will just lead to a triple threat at Mania with these three, I imagine, which I'm not really happy about. If that's the case, I think Orton will win. But the way I would like to see it be done, if I'm honest with you, is Rude retains. Maybe from interference by Jinder, but Jinder Mahal's been in the build up to this, so he's got to be in this match in some degree. I think it'd be, although I've got no time for Jinder, it'd be silly really to be for him to be in the build up and to be no sign of him in this match. So, but what I'd like to see is Rude win, and pretty much on SmackDown an immediate heel turn. He's beaten Randy Orton, this decorated world champion who Rude respects thoroughly, which is stated on commentary on SmackDown many times. Yet Orton couldn't beat him for this United States Championship, so therefore that makes Bobby Roode the greatest United States champion of all time. Flawed logic, but who cares? Well, so that's from his point of view anyway. He's been claiming he wants to be the best United States champion. So why not just announce that you are? He goes, you know what? I beat Orton. Fuck it, yes I am. And the man I'd like to see him face is none other than Rusev. I think Rusev and Rude would be brilliant with heel Rude and the universe behind Rusev. And Rusev could announce that once he becomes United States champion, he will declare that Rusev Day will be a national holiday, celebrated on every single day, because every day is Rusev Day, which I'm fine with. That's where I think they should go. And for me, I don't need Orton at Mania, but the fans love him. The fans love Randy Orton. He's adored by the fans. I can understand why he would be liked, but the fact that he's so adored, I just don't really understand. I think he's been described by a few, including myself, as just seems to not be giving it his all. I don't know if it's just because there's not a storyline or anything he can sink his teeth into. Viper pun maybe there. I don't know, but he just seems not really that bothered. So for me, he doesn't need to be at Mania. Jinder certainly doesn't need to be at Mania for me. Maybe chuck them both in the Battle Royal if they're about. At the Andre Memorial Battle Royal if they're about. But apart from that, I'm not bothered about them. But I'd rather see both of them phased out of this title picture. Heel Rude. Actually acknowledge that Rusev is a face and everyone loves him. Because when there's a promo with Aiden English, when he sings the Rusev Day song, he'll always, despite the fact that the fans are still chanting and singing for him, he'll still be slagging off the town in his opening song. But get the fans behind him, or let them acknowledge that the fans are behind him, should I say. And watch the merch sales of Rusev Day's t-shirts skyrocket. Speaking of Rusev Day, outside of my fantasy booking world, he is facing Nakamura at Fastlane, and of course he's going to fucking lose. But there's no other way around this. it puts Rusev on the card, I suppose. It's not as if he's being pushed, so there's no real shame losing to somebody who's going to wrestle, guaranteed to go to WrestleMania to fight for the world title. So there's not really much shame in that, I suppose. Should be a good match if they get enough time. I mean, they should have enough time if they can add last minute matches like the women's tag in this match, whose foundations are solely based on the SmackDown before the show. Then it should be a good enough match. Rusev taking the fall, obviously. Now we move on to the Women's Championship match. I see Charlotte retaining this all day long, if I'm honest with you. I see it being a very good match. I see it being one of the better women's matches of recent memory, if I'm honest with you. So I do rate Ruby Riott, and obviously Charlotte, everyone knows how good Charlotte is, but I do rate Ruby Riott. I thought she got called up a lot earlier than I was expecting her to, but I think she's handled it really well. Like, she looks like she was made to be there. She doesn't look like she's hesitant or struggling, or she looks fine. She looks like she's meant to be there. The rest of the Riott squad, I can't say as much for, but it's Ruby's Riott squad, isn't it? So they're just the backup, which I'm fine with. But despite how good I think Ruby is, I still think that she's taken a loss against Charlotte. And I think what's been speculated by quite a few people, websites and what culture and what have you, and Cultaholic, that Asuka will be facing Charlotte at Mania, because after the Chamber, Asuka hasn't announced that she wants to face Alexa Bliss. It's just been assumed by everybody, and there's plenty of other women on Raw that Alexa Bliss could face. I mean, if Asuka comes to SmackDown, I mean, the story's already set up for Nia Jax, and although I don't like Nia Jax, but the story's already set up really well for Nia and Alexa, with Alexa's backup now being Mickie James. That's a whole fucking other conversation. But the way I'd like to see it played out is during the match, the Riott squad attempt to get involved, and the ref gives it the "You're out of here!" So they get ejected from ringside. The match continues. Charlotte gets the win in the end, and after the bell's rung, the Riott squad are back down and give Charlotte a fucking beating. So the Riott squad can walk away with their heads kind of held high because they've left Charlotte laying. But Charlotte's still champion. She's down, battered and bruised, but she's fine. And then Carmella makes an appearance. She comes down to the ring, screaming. She comes fucking frantically down to the ring. She's screaming. She's fucking doing a nut because she wants this title. She dives in the ring. She's handing the case to the ref. But I think in conjunction with a character, rather than it being someone who cashes it in, like the one that's coming to mind is Edge. He runs down to the ring and he's intense, but he calmly and with focus, he hands the blue head to the ref, and then he's ready. He leaves the ref alone, and then he's ready to face whoever and take the title from him. But with Carmella's character, I think it'd work where she's come storming down to the ring and she's screaming at the ref like non-stop. Like the ref can't get a word in edgeways to announce to the ring announcer to start the match or to announce the match is going to happen. So Carmella, with her excitement and her frantic behaviour, she's hindering herself from her own title match, which in the meantime has given Charlotte a bit of time to recover. So the fans are thinking, oh, it's not too bad. Maybe Charlotte might retain. But before the bell can be rung, Asuka's music starts playing. She doesn't come running down to the ring. Asuka comes out normal, still with the dance moves in it. I was near dance then, but I've not got the rhythm. Asuka comes down, dancing to the ring, and as soon as Carmella sees her or hears the music, she turns around, she shits herself because it's Asuka, and she's shit scared of Asuka. She jumps out the ring, grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase, and fucks off back up the crowd. So it's not a case of, Asuka comes down to the ring and Carmella cashes in, but Asuka saves the cash in, so Charlotte doesn't lose the belt. Carmella acknowledges Asuka's coming down, and she fucks off because she doesn't want to face Asuka. So she knows Asuka's got a match, because Carmella knows if she wins the belt, she's going to face Asuka. She doesn't want that because she's scared of what Asuka might do to her. And Asuka will walk down to the ring, and she gets in the ring. She doesn't help Charlotte up. We don't need to be friends. Everyone doesn't need to be buddies and help everyone out. But Asuka's come down to the ring not because she wants to face the SmackDown, not because she wants that particular title, it's about who's holding the title. And Charlotte has been announced the best woman on the roster in this, and all this business, and Asuka wants to face her. And give Asuka needs to say as few words as possible. Like, get in the ring, point to the women's belt, point to the WrestleMania sign, do a bit of pointing, and just, rather than saying no one is ready for Asuka, maybe look at Charlotte in the face and, you're not ready for Asuka. And just something like that. Keep it simple. And then, so Carmella's still got Money in the Bank, and it's announced that it's going to be Asuka versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. And as a side note, I think what would be an interesting story, something we've never seen before with Money in the Bank, rather than it losing its allure, like Baron Corbin just wasting his cash in, and rather than it just being a way to get some really cheap heat by having Carmella pin Asuka and breaking a streak, which I've got no time for because it'd just be a waste, really. And all it is just cheap heat. It really is. Just like the fucking Ellsworth getting the Money in the Bank in the first women's match. I mean, it just a fucking waste. But anyway, that she never ends up cashing it in. Either that, or she demands that she goes to Raw because she doesn't want to face Asuka. And the reason being that she doesn't want the rematch when Asuka's fully fit. So maybe there's times where Asuka's, after a match and she's tired and she's hurt, and Carmella comes down, but she changes her mind. Like, no, I don't want to face because I don't want the rematch. Like, she's that scared of Asuka. Like, Asuka's that dangerous. I think that'd be interesting. I don't know if they would do that. I mean, I don't know if people would be against it because it being a woman and the first time the Money in the Bank isn't cashing is while a woman's holding it. I mean, that's not the angle I'm going. It's not about. It's about Asuka. It's more about focusing on Asuka, that she's that intimidating. Really build her up. But that'd be an interesting way to go, I think. Or maybe have Carmella. I don't know. I'm going off on one, but that'd just be the thing. Just let me know what you think. I mean, maybe is that interesting? Well, it's definitely something we've not seen before. And get into maybe a month away from Money in the Bank, and Carmella's still got the briefcase, and she just doesn't know what to do with herself because she's so scared of Asuka. And like in the build-up, let Carmella have a few matches with Asuka, and Asuka just fucking destroys her, and she just doesn't want to know about the Money in the Bank briefcase, or maybe she hands it over to somebody else who's a bit more willing to take that beating or something. I don't know. There's a few ways to go. Just Carmella for me. I've not really got a lot of time for her, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, moving on. Something I've got a lot of time for, and I mean a lot of time. The match that is probably going to be the show stealer, with the Usos taking on the New Day. And I've really been tossing and turning about who I think is going to win this match. And I think I've decided that I want the New Day to win. That's what I think. Because the way I've been thinking is if the Usos win, they've literally gone through every team on the roster apart from the Bludgeon Brothers. And the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos is not a match I'm really looking forward to. Like, the Bludgeon Brothers for me is still finding the feet. Still, setting the gimmick in stone and what have you. I don't think that a match with the Usos is really, it's their time yet. What I'd like to see, the way I'd do it, is New Day versus Usos. The New Day win. So once again, like I said, the reason I'm struggling to decide is because they've booked it so well that these teams are so incredibly even. I don't know who to pick, but I'm leaning more towards the New Day because then it could lead to the Usos announcing that they want their contractually obliged, is that right? Anyway, their contractually obligated rematch at WrestleMania for the titles. So they get the guaranteed WrestleMania match they've been looking for. I think that will be the best outcome, because I can't even New Day versus Bludgeon Brothers. I know they've planted seeds for the Bludgeon Brothers, but I'm not bought into them at all yet. I'd much rather see New Day versus the Usos in one last match and have the stipulation be the loser has to leave the brand, because they've done it before where they had a handshake kind of interaction. Said, "Oh, we've had a few matches. I respect you. I respect you too. With revenge of his respect. We can't keep going around in this circle, so let's go our separate ways." And they did do that, and they've ended up full circle. That was a fucking really weird circle. But anyway, the New Day have run through all the other contenders, and the Usos have retained their title against the other contenders. So they just come full circle. It's bang, right? We're still the best two tag teams on this brand. Let's have another match. They're like, yeah, let's do this. So at WrestleMania, the loser has to leave the brand, because after Mania we usually get NXT call-ups anyway, and the Usos, I think at WrestleMania, have the Usos lose again, and they go over to Raw, and that set up a nice couple of matches with the Bar and the Usos, which the rivalry already stemmed from the Survivor Series match. They've got foundation there, and the Usos versus Revival, I think, would be fucking incredible matches. And you could have maybe the Authors of Pain move up to SmackDown and challenge the New Day, and meanwhile building up the Bludgeon Brothers, and then. But anyway, that's what I think. So I think Fastlane, these two, possibly match stealers or show stealers, sorry, and I think New Day to win the titles. Brings us on to the main event, the 6-pack challenge, and I'm picking AJ Styles to retain this all day long. And I was thinking as to who would be taking the fall in this match, and the more I think about it, the more I think John Cena has to take the fall. Because if someone's got to lose, if it's a multi-man match, and you can choose who loses, let's make the person who has to lose, let's make it for a reason. And if John Cena loses this match, it just adds to his whole angle of being unable to get to WrestleMania. Not only, it's something that it's obvious, but it's something that people don't really mention very often. Like, for the losers of the multi-man matches, like, your odds of retaining in this match for AJ is 1 in 6. Equally, the odds for losing are very unlikely. They're 1 in 6 as well. Yet John Cena, despite being in the ring with 5 other people, has still managed to be the only person to take the fall. He's the one who's lost his match, so it puts him right back at the bottom of the pedestal or whatever for future championships. I think Dolph and Baron Corbin being in this are a complete fucking waste of time. I've not got much time for either of them, really. Like I said, Dolph, that's a whole fucking other video out for you, Dingle. Apologies for not shouting you out last time. I don't want either of them to be involved in the finish. No, neither of them are going to win. Let's be fucking realistic. But they shouldn't. To have either of them take the fall was just a bit cheap and easy for me. The only other two I think possibly would be Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, and that could play into the fact of, say, Sami takes the fall. Kevin Owens being frustrated that Sami Zayn said he would take the fall for him, yet he's took the fall for somebody else. I think we're leading to a Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn match at WrestleMania, which I'll be fine with. That's not going to be for the title, because if it's for the title, then Nakamura's going to get involved. It's going to be, it's not going to feel right. It's, they've got this. You've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a mega bitter personal rivalry, and then Nakamura just turns up for the title match. So, yeah, the only one I can see winning this is AJ Styles. John Cena, I really don't think so. I think I'm intrigued a little bit. The fact that the fact that they're doing a John Cena can't get a match is ridiculous. But I'm also equally intrigued as to what they're going to do with it. And I don't want it to be resolved as a, he's at the bottom. He's begging and pleading for a road to WrestleMania, and then after a few weeks, he's going to WrestleMania as a WWE champion. It's just too much of a fucking extreme jump for me. And what does it say about the WWE Championship from a prestigious point of view? Like the guy who's now walking to WrestleMania as that champion was begging and pleading, scratching and clawing for just a match at WrestleMania. And now he's defending the world title. I was having time for that. So that's the show. As this point, we've got no pre-show match announced. So I'm just going to guess a Bludgeon Brothers squash, perhaps. But we're not going to announce. So there's nothing really to talk about. I'm pretty sure there's a pre-show. I'm pretty sure the pre-show will hype up the pay-per-view much better than I've done. But they get paid a lot of money to do that, and I don't get paid fuck all to do it. I do it because I like to. I like to ramble about shit. Speaking of rambling, I partly apologise for this turned into a fantasy booking video, nearly as much as it has been a preview video. But I just got off on it. I enjoy it, to be honest with you. So if you enjoyed it too, let me know. If you thought anything of, or any of my predictions that you agree with or disagree with, let me know. Any of the fantasy booking thing rambles I've gone on, if you like the sound of them, let me know. Just let me know in the comments. If you dislike all of them, let me know. If you think the way you've done it or you could do it is better, then let me know. Give me a thumb. Give me a thumb either way. Give me a thumb in. And like I said, write some words in the comments for me to read, or for me to get, or if I can find someone to read them to me. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. They've got a lot to do to build up WrestleMania after the Elimination Chamber, which I didn't really enjoy. But after we've seen the Fatal 5-Way, and we've as a preview, I think this show should end strong. If I'm honest with you, but if they kill it, where they do like a cool down match, where they put a shit match in before like the few good ones, then they should take a leaf out of New Japan's book and just as the show goes on, let the matches get better and better. It's simple as that. It's just one of the shortest shows they do. End with the free, the WWE title, the women's match, which I think will be good, and the tag title, and just let it progress. Don't fluctuate what's good and what, just steady progression of start with the shit, move to the diamond. Right, well, hope you enjoy it. That was my preview / fantasy booking of bits and bobs. So goodbye.